Alright, so we are going to feed the new screen through our midframe, and to do that, we need to make sure that these wires, these two wires, the LCD and digitizer one, are the same length. As you can see, they're the same length right there. And we're basically going to gently make sure that they're the same length, and these two wires are going to go through right here on the midframe. So we're going to gently put it in like that. And as you can see, that they're different sizes, and if you look, you can see, I'll use my screwdriver to point it out, there is a little, they're not completely even in there. So this is very important. You want to make sure these wires are even and then push it through. So you kind of just fish it through. And as you can see, they're parallel with each other right there. And this is exactly what we want. A lot of times this top wire will get caught up in there. So just to make that easier, we're just trying to show you guys how to do it. So if you need to, use a little screwdriver, and as right here, we're trying to bring this wire out. You can gently pull it. Gently is the key there, and then it should, when you get it all lined up, the wires should align and go in right there like that. So that's how you put the new screen on. So now that we've tightened these 6 washer and screws back on, we're going to put the 4 corner screws on, just making sure they're all tight. So we're going to put the 4 corner screws on. These are the small ones. You can go quick if you're good. And then we're going to put the vibrator and the 2 screws on. Smaller screws on the right. And now we're going to put this speaker enclosure on. And you got to be very careful while doing this. Put it in an angle and making sure these 4 tabs, you're going to apply light pressure, and then you're going to press each one of these to make sure the 4 tabs jumps under the little frame. So as you're holding these leads down, we're going to make sure that they're all flush, and you can feel it's flush, and you're going to grab the speaker screw, and you're going to put this 1 screw in right there. So do it in and screw it in tight so that it holds the speaker enclosure down. So it's very important that you do that, and just make sure this stays out of the way for this next part. So the next part is we're going to be putting on the logic board. We're going to be putting back on this logic board and seating it into place. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put the logic board at an angle and then drop it into its little seat. Some important points to note are right here. The logic board lines up to a little screw right there, and that corresponds with that. And there's the 2 screws 1 and 2 to hold it down. So to put the logic board in, make sure this is peeled back and the speaker enclosure is down, and push these back. But what you're going to do is you're going to be very careful, but put it in an angle like this, and the top right here is going to clip under. So take this in, go in at an angle like that, making sure these 3 wires are back and these 2 wires are back, and this antenna connect is right there, and you're going to angle it in, and very gently, I can't stress this enough, very gently drop it, and you're going to try to seat the logic board right here with a little pin that's right there. So right there, it's seated down. So keeping pressure on the logic board, grab your screwdriver, and then you're going to grab one of the screws and put that screw back in right there to hold the logic board down. And then you're going to put your Phillips head screwdriver down and go for your flathead. Grab the big screw. And we're going to push down and lightly screw this in because you might not have seated the logic board right. So lightly screw this in with a flathead. So now we're going to be attaching the antenna back, and you want to be very gentle as you hear it click into place. And you just kind of feel it around. So now we're going to put the rear camera on. Just grab it, lightly drop it in there, and clip it on. So you can see the rear camera's clipped on there. So now that we've attached the camera, we're going to reattach the 5 wires to the logic board. These wires 1 and 2 are your LCD and digitizer, which we've replaced. And these are the other 3 wires on there. So we're going to gently press them on. 1, 2, 3. You can hear that. And then here's wires 1 and 2. Now gently push these on. You can hear them click. And then your LCD and digitizer wire. Now, as you can see, it's very important to make sure that these are all firmly attached to the logic board, and we will go on to our next step, which is our 5 screws and EMF shield. So now that those 6 cables are all in, we're going to drop the EMF shield back on. Hold it tight and grab the biggest screw, and you're going to drop it back on, and it's going to clip in. You can hear it clip in, and you're going to want to apply a little bit of pressure. And grab, remember, this biggest screw right here and put it on there. And it's easiest to do the biggest screw first and then the little ones. Alright, so what we've done is we've put the 5 screws from the EMF shield and the cover onto the respective spots. You have the screw 1, 2, 3, the most important screw 4, and screw 5, and it's securing all those leads down to the logic board. And those leads are your camera lead, your LCD, digitizer, speaker, sensors, and your front-facing camera, so that you put those 5 leads down. So now you're going to grab the ribbon screw. This is the last screw that goes on to secure the logic board. And then you're going to angle it, make sure that's tilted back, and you're going to put the ribbon screw back on. So make sure this is secured on there. And then after you secure your antenna lead, you're going to push this ribbon cable back, and there's adhesive right there, and attach it back on there. So gently push this back, and you can kind of feel where it lines up, and then press down. So we have this ribbon cable hooked up, and the adhesive's back on there. So we're going to put the little shield back on, and the 2 screws that attach the shield. So now that the EMF shield's back on, we're going to put the SIM card back in, and be gentle while you're putting the SIM card back in. You can see it's flush. So now that we've put the SIM card back in, you can see it's all flush, and these 2 screws on the EMF shield holding the wire that has your home button and your speakers down on it, those are screwed in. We're going to put the battery back on, and there's a little clip right here that you're going to drop, gently place in there, and you can see it grounds out on the back of the phone. So, and it holds down your antenna. So it's a very important clip. So you're going to lightly set it in there. Doesn't have to be too exact. And then you're going to take your battery, and you're going to want to take your battery and you clip the battery in first and then seat it down. So we're going to take the battery, and the battery's clipped in right now, and then we're going to seat the battery down. So gently push down and then drop the battery down. So you have your battery there, And the last thing you need to do is put this one screw that holds both the grounding lead and the antenna in place, as well as the battery connector. You're going to screw that back in. And that firmly holds the battery connector lead. Then you're going to take your back of your plate, gently push it on the phone like that, and a little bit up as you can see, and you're going to push this down. So it puts that locks it back into place. And then you need to put your 2 bottom screws back on. And remember, it's the special pentalobe driver that we sell. So you're going to grab the 2 screws. Screw those in nice and tight with the pentalobe driver. And for the moment of truth, you're going to hold down the power button. And you can see the Apple signs on and your phone is powering up. And you just went from a broken screen to your newly fixed screen. So we're going to let that power up. And that is the iPhone 4 GSM teardown by iCracked. And we supply all the replacement parts, instructions, tools, and flow charts for you to do a successful repair by yourself. It's not that hard. You just need to know what you're doing, and we're here to help you. Feel free to visit our website at www.icracked.it to order parts or to ask any questions. We offer 24-hour customer service, so feel free to try this repair, and we're here to help you and supply you with all your needs.